What is up, guys? Cody here from Thrilling Heroics. I'm hanging out on the Mekong River in Luang Prabang, Laos. Just wanted to shoot a quick video. People have been asking me, so what in the world is this hero project thing that you're working on anyhow? This will be a short video, but really quick. First, in case you're unfamiliar with me, let me first introduce myself. So, a little bit about me. I've been writing at thrillingheroics.com for over 10 years now, since June 2006, and I've basically traced my journey building a business online and traveling the world for over 8 years now. I moved abroad in late 2008, went to Thailand and ended up spending a lot of my time there because I fell in love with Southeast Asia and Buddhist culture. But I'm just gonna walk around a little. I hope we don't get too much background noise from the boats. But I traveled 4 continents, lived on 4 continents actually. Probably traveled about 35 countries. And so I've been documenting just my weird journey, traveling around the world, living a little bit of a different lifestyle, experimenting with different things in entrepreneurship. And I'm by no means a super well-accomplished entrepreneur, but I've managed to network with and become friends with a ton of fascinating people with lots of really good lessons and wisdom to share. And so the last 6 years I ended up creating an academy, and truth be told, it's not something that I originally set out to do. I originally started it with 2 partners and things went south, so I ended up having lots of business failures and betrayals and, you know, all of the typical challenges one has when trying to build a business and live a different kind of life. Let's see if we can see this boat going by. But then all of a sudden I became a father about a little over 3 years ago now, and my son was born actually when I was on the other side of the world. I was in Colombia in South America when my son was born in the Philippines. Long story, but it took me almost a year to fully wrap my head around that, to accept my responsibility as a father, and to make my way across the globe back to my partner and our son. Well, at the time we weren't partners, but you know, it was a strange situation and we had to figure out what we were. So that was a long, rocky road, but in the end, it's the biggest blessing that I've ever had in my entire life. My son means the world to me, and though it terrified me at first when I first found I might be a father, in the end it's my favorite thing. My favorite thing. So now I'm trying to open up more, share a lot more honest, transparent information about the difficult journeys that we go through in life. And strangely enough, you know, once I made my way back across the world to Asia and became a dad, full-time dad and full-time entrepreneur. Obviously I was juggling a lot of different responsibilities, and I know many of you are probably entrepreneurs as well, or you're trying to start up an online business. I know many of you probably have family you're responsible for, and many other responsibilities, and just the regular day-to-day challenges and setbacks of living. You know, this being a human is pretty awesome, but certainly isn't easy. So in becoming a father and fully accepting the responsibility that comes along with that, I grew a newfound passion for basically child development, psychology, and personal growth, personal development. And it led me back to things like Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey, which is a framework you find in mythology, if you study that, which I did in university, strangely enough. But so essentially I've been working on writing my memoirs, trying to pull the best life advice and wisdom from traveling the world for 8 years and building businesses and finding myself in all kinds of weird situations and overcoming massive personal setbacks and challenges and accepting the responsibility of fatherhood. And I'm finding that I've found the hero's journey, the work of Joseph Campbell and others, to be a hugely useful framework for thinking about the path of self-improvement, personal growth, spiritual growth, if you're on that path, which I think every human eventually gets to. So at the Hero Project, me and my community are basically working overtime to translate this timeless framework, the hero's journey, into something useful for those of us that are chasing personal development, personal mastery, and self-improvement. I know if you're anything like me, I went through many periods on my travels. It can be a very lonely journey. Building a business can be incredibly challenging and also very isolating if you're not surrounded by other people on a similar path, or if you're not partnered up with someone in your business. When you're building a business, very few people understand the types of challenges you go through. So even trying to confide in family and friends, often won't really achieve a lot. So my aim is to provide a place for people that are going through these major life transitions, or trying to tackle huge goals, and that are experiencing one form of obstacles or setbacks or challenges, whatever kind of resistance. And the hero's journey cycle is an incredible tool for anyone that's going through those kind of setbacks. And the more I've studied, strangely enough, it really is a map for your psyche, for the unconscious. The more I've gotten into this, the more I have been studying psychology, psychotherapy, psychiatry, and the hero's journey really gives us a map for how to figure yourself out, how to overcome old traumas maybe that you're still clinging onto from childhood. That's one thing that's really interesting about studying child development, is you learn a lot about yourself. And then anyone who's going through the process of maturation, growing up, and it's natural. We go through different phases of our lives, and especially when you take on new roles with family or in your community, it means your identity needs to change. And many people go through an in-between phase that can be incredibly painful, incredibly challenging, because you're moving away from your old identity, but you don't quite know who you are yet. Old things don't work the same way any longer, but you're not quite familiar yet with your new surroundings, your new role, your new identity. You're still figuring things out. So this is a framework for people that are going through any major process of change. And the more I've studied psychology, I find a lot of people refer to that cycle as depression, or midlife crisis, or some people call it the dark night of the soul, especially when they're referring to more spiritual growth. So we're working on combining forces with dozens and dozens of really talented, ambitious people doing all kinds of different things. It's a very diverse group with members from around the world, members from all different backgrounds and different worldviews, different religious ideologies or perspectives. So it's a very open-minded community, and you need to approach it that way. But it's essentially a framework and a support community for those of us that are going through massive change and chasing after personal mastery. A few of the things you'll get, well, I'm just going to let you scroll down the page and you can see the specifics, but I send out regular emails, basically synthesizing and condensing a ton of the incredible wisdom that I find reading all these psychology and psychiatry books, as well as old mythology stuff and religious ideas, but we also look at it in a really fun way, because it's the hero's journey. So we get to relate this to fun things like Luke Skywalker, James Bond, Neo escaping the Matrix. You know, these things are metaphors for the processes we go through in life. So I hope you'll consider joining us and bring your knowledge, your wisdom, your experience, because we all have things to teach each other. So above all, that's what this really is it's a place to gather like-minded souls, but people from all different walks of life, and get people having a conversation, working towards a common goal of creating meaningful things in the world and overcoming their own baggage, overcoming challenges, and supporting each other through that process. And my main mission, as always, is to remind you that you get to choose. You can be the hero, the protagonist of your own story. And when you choose, life becomes very exciting. I hope you'll join us. Thanks for watching.